Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Book Review with Shalom, a place where we dive into the world of books, thoughts, and ideas. A young man came to the end of his career after being hit by a baseball bat. At an early age, his love for baseball was going so fast and he wanted to become a professional baseball player. But once on the field, he was hit by a baseball bat that crushed his nose and almost left him disfigured. After a series of seizures and a lot of trauma, he was able to come out of that incident. But it took him a long time. While his team had actually gone ahead of time, he had to start developing and relearning the things he had learned prior before then. This incident gave him the understanding of what he calls habits. He was able to write a book to explain to people how he came out of that incident and how he became one of the best baseball players in his college days. And also, he was one of the best students during his days in college. He is no other person than James Clear. James Clear is a writer of Atomic Habits. This book is an exciting book. One read from this book and you'll be able to understand why you do the things you do most often and why you're not able to leave those habits. He says atomic habits are just tiny habits that look insignificant. They don't really look as if they matter, but at the long run, those habits, they accumulate and then you have a compound effect or a compound behavior because of those tiny habits. So Atomic Habits talks about a whole lot of things, but I'm going to pick few things I've learned from this book and few things that have caught my attention that I've been able to apply in my own life and I've seen a very good, remarkable result. First off, he said that you shouldn't focus on goals, focus on your systems. In an attempt to develop or in an attempt to undo a habit, you shouldn't just focus on setting goals. Everyone set goals. He made mention of the fact that both winners and losers have the same goal. If you're running in an Olympic game, the person who is running or the person who eventually loses the game was not having the goal of losing at first. Both of them have the goal of winning the prize, but it's only one person that wins the prize. He made emphasis on the fact that the person that eventually wins that prize is not the person that focused on the goal, but the person that works on his strategy. Focus on your strategy. So you're trying to quit drinking or you're trying to quit procrastination, and the goal is to quit procrastination. What strategy have you set in place in order for you to stop procrastination? It might be an alarm that keeps on telling you what to do at every point in time. That is the strategy you're using, but the goal is procrastination. So we're trying to see that we develop strategies that at the long run would help us get to our goal and not just goals without strategy. So next time you're trying to deal with a habit, try and set strategies and not just goals. He also mentioned the fact that achieving a goal is momentary, while systems would last you not just for that moment, but beyond the moment. And if you're setting a goal without a system, you might not be able to reproduce that result over and over again. But once you set a system, the system will help you to reproduce that result over and over again. So the next time you are trying to deal with a habit or you're trying to develop another habit, remember to set systems in place. What is the step you're taking in order to deal with that habit or to build that habit? All right, the second thing we'll be looking at is your habits and your identity. Your identity is your belief about yourself, what you see, what you believe you are, who you believe you are, and what you see yourself doing. So he mentioned the fact that we must be able to align our habits with our identity. So if you are trying to learn how to quit a habit, do not refer to yourself as somebody who is trying to learn how to quit that habit. Refer to yourself as somebody who does not do that thing. For example, you're trying to quit drinking and somebody offers you a drink. Don't say, no, I'm not drinking because I'm trying to quit drinking. Tell that person, no, I don't drink. So your habits align with your identity. You are not the person you believe you are yet, and it's not as if you're lying, but you believe that you're going to be there, and so your habits should always align with the identity that you give people. He believes that if you do not believe you are that person, you will not put in the effort and you will not do everything humanly possible to see that you quit that habit. After learning this, how do we now know And what are the things that help to develop those habits? How do we now know that this person is creating this habit? And how does this person develop new habits? He gets 4 key points as to things that come, or steps in which you can undo habits, and also steps in which you can gain new habits. The 4 steps are: 1, the clue. He says the clue is your brain giving you and initiating a new idea to you. For example, people do not just say they are hungry. There's a communication that happens from your brain, and then you begin to feel hungry. Your brain communicates that to you. So your brain is what initiates a clue to you. The next thing you would do is a craving. You begin to crave food. After the clue, you have a craving. You begin to crave what to eat, and your craving comes because you have received a clue from your brain. And after immediately after the craving, you begin to look around to see what is available, because there is a clue. What is available, you eat. And then secondly, your eating is your response to your cravings. Once you've eaten, you've responded to your cravings, and after you've eaten, you feel satisfied. So an illustration is, a person who drinks does not feel like taking beer. He just enjoys the pleasure that beer gives him. So every habit has a satisfying end result. So if you feel eating is what gives you pleasure, the pleasure is what makes you obese, because consistently you're feeding your clues, and then your body is now responding to your cravings, and then after that you have a reward. So we have clue, cravings, response, and then a reward. These things are what controls your habits. He also said that if you must address the area of your clue, your cravings, reward, and even your response, you must make sure that your habits, or the habit you're trying to develop, is so obvious that everyone can see it. You don't try to gain a new habit and don't make it obvious. You want to be a reader and you want to learn how to read. Why don't you put books on your bed so that you would have those books in your area where it becomes obvious for you to know that, yes, I should be reading. If you want to also undo the habit of reading, which I don't advise you to do, you make sure that it is so unattractive. There are no books around you. Nobody's saying you don't see books around you. So you will be able to undo that habit. A person who wants to lose weight is not advised to keep food around him. This is how it works, because your brain will communicate, and then your cravings will come, and you'll be forced to respond to that to gain the reward from satisfying whatever cravings you have. So you want to learn how to read because you're a book review with Shalom. Have books placed in strategic areas in your home, in your offices. It will send a clue to your brain, and then you respond to that, and then you'll get the reward of learning how to consistently read. He also mentioned that you should make those habits you want to learn very easy. Don't try to say you want to wake up in the morning and jog, and your first decision you make is you want to jog for a long distance. That is very difficult. It will be very difficult for your body to adapt to that. But start with a very short distance, which will look so insignificant, because we said that habits are just tiny changes, those tiny changes that you make every day that accumulate. So start running a very short distance, and after you run a very short distance, your body would feel it's okay, it's just this short, so there is no problem. After you run that short distance, you continue increasing it as you go by. So make sure that the new habit you're trying to develop is very easy. First, we say make it very obvious. Keep it where you can see it. Make sure the shoes for your jogging is somewhere around that you can see it. It will send a clue to your brain that you need to jog. Then you will now be able to satisfy yourself. And then make it very easy. Don't make it so difficult. Don't set so much goals that are so big. Make it very easy for you to do it. And the other thing he said make it satisfying. Let it be satisfying. Let it be that after jogging, you can give yourself a round of applause. Do something to encourage yourself because you have achieved the first goal that you want to achieve. So your habits have to be habits that you're developing first have to be obvious, they have to be easy, they have to be satisfying. To break negative habits, or to break habits that you don't want, first make them unattractive. Make them invincible. Don't say you want to stop alcohol and you have alcohol stopped in your fridge, or you have a bottle of beer all around you and you're trying to resist the temptation of taking alcohol. No, you make it so invincible, make it so difficult for you to reach. If you know it's going to be in your fridge, it's very close. So make it in a way that there is no alcohol in your house. It's more difficult for you to go out to get the alcohol. It will buy you time to be able to resist that habit of drinking. And it says make it unsatisfying. Don't try and create a way where you won't derive pleasure from doing that. The long road you're going to travel to journey to get the alcohol is going to make it unsatisfying. Remember that habits do not just happen in a day. They are those tiny changes that you make in your life, and they have a compound effect and they become your behavior. And once they become your behavior, they become automatic. So I would advise that you pick a copy of Atomic Habits, read through the book, get to know what are those habits you want to deal with, and take the very steps that he has told us on how to deal with habits and how to develop habits. Remember your clues, remember that you also have your cravings, remember you have your response, and remember that you have your reward. So anytime your mind or your brain gives you a clue, know what the cravings are and be careful if to or not to respond to that craving, because whatever you respond to gives you a reward, and if there is a reward for an action, you would repeatedly do that thing and it becomes automatic. Thank you for staying tuned to Book Review with Shalom. Hope to see you on the next episode. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel or chat us up on Instagram, follow us up on Facebook. Bye for now.